I thought when I was in middle school that doing the 300 workout that the Spartans did from the movie 300 was gonna get me six-pack abs and big muscles. If I would have known the truth, I would have started with the 5x5 workout program because it is more proven and has more research behind it for actual strength gains and actual muscle growth. Good morning. Welcome to week 17, day 4. It is leg day. I got my bigger size of my A7 Rigor Mortis knee sleeves I'm going to try out today. These ones come on and fit a lot better than the others. If anything, they're just harder to keep enough on my thigh, but they are not digging into my hamstrings and those other ones that I got were previously at the 2XL. These are the 3XLs. Still not the easiest to get on, but certainly much better than the others. So let's see if I can get my pants down on over these. So maybe like, yeah, that's too easy to get on. You didn't get them small enough. Well, you didn't see the one size down from this. I almost couldn't get them on and then couldn't get them off and felt like they were going to cause my legs to fall off. So it seemed like it was not the best help. So maybe we'll talk a little bit about these during the workout, but I mainly want to talk about 5x5 workout, which I've heard about it. People have told me about it. When I was first starting out back in high school, it's not really, we kind of still did chest day and leg day and stuff like that. I did start with compound lifts. That was how I learned. But I kind of wish that maybe I had heard about this, the 5x5, because I think it is a great beginner's program. There are intermediate and advanced forms of it as well. So I don't want to bill it as only an intermediate thing, but I think for beginners, if you're thinking about doing push-pull legs or a bro split or something like that, I would steer you towards doing a 5x5. And in short, it's like a 3-day workout where you just do compound lifts. So bench, squat, deadlift, and then depending on which program you do, there are different variations. You either also do some barbell rows and maybe some calf raises and some overhead presses or something like that. And then there's the option to do accessory work too if you have the time. But you mainly do those 4 exercises and alternate them. So we'll talk a little bit more about it after I finish getting my shoes on. And today is leg day, so we are going to start with squats, which is one of the big compound lifts that is part of the 5x5. I'm back at you. All right, let's start with our warm-up. We are doing our typical warm-up of 2 sets of 50% and 1 set of 75%. So I've got 155 loaded here. And I forgot to take these weights off. I will bump these. There. They will be bumped. One thing I'll just say right off the bat is this size Rigor Mortis seems to maybe not be staying up as well as it should, which may be an indication that the size is too big and maybe the other size was the right size for me. And maybe I'm just not an elite powerlifter who is comfortable with that level of compression yet. I don't know, we'll see how the rest of this workout goes, and I might just opt for less stiff. Maybe that's at the level that I'm at and I don't need the knee wrap level ones. We'll see. Because I've noticed like the other ones I could barely even bend. This one I can bend, and I'm just trying to figure out, is this helpful? It's kind of uncomfortable, and I'm just trying to figure out, is this actually going to be helpful when I get to heavier weights compared to my other level 2 or whatever compression knee sleeves. All right, second warm-up set. show you what a 5x5 workout looks like. In the Heavy app, which I've been using, they have a beginner 5x5. You can see it's a beginner-friendly strength building program. You work out 3 days a week and gradually add weight to the barbell. And then it gets its name because you're doing 5 sets of 5 reps for each lift. And so you can see it's broken down into a workout A and a workout B, and you pretty much just alternate those. So week 1, you do A, B, A, but then since you finish on A, the next week you start on B, B, A, B. So workout A is squat, bench press, and bent over rows, and workout B is squat, overhead press, and deadlift. Now, these rep schemes don't look like 5x5, but I think that's because they're just including warm-ups. So you can do a little bit of a ramp up into your reps. So you probably start out with really lightweight, work your way up, and then do 5x5 at your working set. Excuse me. And the goal is for you to do five sets with 5 perfect form reps. And if you can complete that, then you add weight next time you do that workout, or next week, or whatever. So it can just be 5-pound increments. You can just add 2.5 pounds on the sides, or 10-pound increments where you're adding 5 pounds on the sides. Or maybe even if you are getting to a point where you're really struggling to add any more weight, you can find fractional weights like 1.25 pounds so that you're only adding 2.5 pounds, right? But that's the goal, is to basically add weight every week. And if you get to a point where you're stalled, then you back off and do a deload week, and you back off by 10% or something like that. So that's the overall premise. And this is kind of what I would say is a basic starting point: squat, bench, bent over row, squat, overhead press, deadlift. And the thing to mention about deadlift is I think usually that's a single rep or single set of 5 reps where you ramp up, not a full 5 of heavy, not full 5 sets at 5. But we'll talk a little bit more about, break down some of the variations, places where you can find these workouts, and then why I think that they're great. Third warm-up set, got 225 loaded. Do this for 6 to 8. If you're new to the channel, thanks for joining. Right now I'm in the middle of a 20-week, not in the middle, towards the end of a 20-week cut where I've been filming my workouts every day. And I usually pick a topic to talk about. Today we're talking about the 5x5 workout plan and why it's great. But then at the end of every workout, I do a daily check-in where I give you my weigh-in for the day that I did that morning, and then we look at the nutrition from the day before. So you can see exactly the calories and protein that I'm eating in real time. So I tell you what my target was, and you can see whether I hit it or not. And since I'm doing my daily check-ins with my weight, you can see how that is impacting me in real time, whether I'm going to hit my full cut goal or not. The TLDR so far, we're in week 17, so we've only got a little over 3 weeks to go. My initial goal was to hit 40 pounds of weight loss. I'm not going to hit that. Right now, I'm hovering around 25 pounds. So I'm hoping to get to 30 pounds of weight loss, that would average out to about 1.5 pounds of weight loss per week. When I started, I was about 2 pounds of weight loss per week, and things kind of leveled off around 1 pound. Some weeks I'm getting 1.5 pounds, 1 pound, 2.5, or 1 pound or less, depending. So I've had some metabolic adaptation. I've had some weeks where adherence hasn't been great because motivation and self-discipline is broken down, but these are real-time efforts of someone in an aggressive 20-week long cut. So I hope that this type of video and stuff is informational, helpful for you. I wish that I could have peeked over the shoulder of a friend who was doing this before I started, just to see, how do you track your calories? What are your calorie targets? Why do you shoot for a certain amount of protein? And what do you do when you don't get enough protein? So I try to talk about all that and show you my wins and my losses. I decided to sign up for a powerlifting meet. So that's going to be in just a couple of weeks. So I need to make a certain weight for that. There's a little bit of pressure on losing a couple of pounds these next couple of weeks. So that's the stuff that I talk about today. We've talked about the 5x5 workout a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it after I get this first set of squats. First set at our working weight of 305. I had been doing 3 sets of 5, so we'll see how that feels today. I was sick earlier in the week. I'm feeling much better, just have a little lagging stuff that I'm coughing up a little bit, but feeling pretty good energy levels other than being hungry. Man, I'm just hungry all the time right now. So, all right, let's go. All right, so 5 felt good. Felt good. To come back and talk about these knee sleeves, which you can't see because they're under my pants, but that actually felt pretty good. Being down at the bottom of the squat with a little bit heavier weight, I can definitely feel a difference in the tension versus the other ones. And they haven't actually been falling down anymore. I think they have found that where they need to be for my legs. I just have much larger quads compared to my knees, I guess. I mean, my calves aren't small by any means, but I think it was just those other ones, I would have lost circulation by now easily. So if there was like 2.5x, I think that would probably be the deal, but I think this is not hurting. It's certainly probably helping a little bit. So there's that. So you can't mention the 5x5 workout hardly without mentioning the StrongLifts app. So I do want to show you that app, and I just downloaded it. I've not used it before. I've looked at the website. It's tons of super helpful information. Very informed, very well done. Lots of different variations of the 5x5 workout for beginners, intermediate, advanced, all kinds of stuff. So I think maybe what I want to show you is I'm going to download the app, which I've just done, and I will just actually go through setting it up for the first time, because it has a little bit of an onboarding quiz, and I'll do it just for me. I won't pretend like I'm a beginner or more advanced than I am, and we'll see what that experience is for the first time, so you can see if you're, hopefully so that it will help show you how easy it is to get started, right? You don't have to know anything about anything. I part of the goal of this channel is to just show you how simple it is to get into really good shape. It does take discipline, it does take hard work, but you don't need a lot of this complex. There's so many videos about all these, how to get the perfect stimulus to grow your deltoids and get that extra 0.5% of efficiency. And most of us just don't need that. We just need to get started. We just need something simple and effective, right? And so I just want to try and dispel a lot of that complexity and mysteriousness and secret knowledge. It's well known. It's been researched. People have gone before you and have figured it out. And you can just pick up and start for relatively low effort, right? Anytime that we can remove barriers or remove friction to doing something that's going to help us do it consistently. So we're going to do this next set of squats, and then we'll look at what this app looks like. Second set, 305 squats. Here we go, shooting for 5. That's what we got in the first one. I'm going to start a little earlier, even though I haven't caught my breath. But I want to show you what it looks like to get started with this app in real time. So here we have it. We'll click get started. I have not done StrongLifts. I'm not new to barbell, so we'll do that. Male, 34, almost 35. Height, I'll say 5'10", probably a little less, but whatever. Weight, currently, I think 186 is a good estimate. How much can you bench press? Probably easiest just to go off of my max, because I did that last week. It's fresh in my mind. 300. How much can you squat? I think that was 375. Could be more. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That I may change that because tomorrow's Friday and I'm going to go golfing. I won't be working out. But for now, I'll just say that's pretty typical. It'll be a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's probably what I would start out with for the winter. We'll remind you. I don't need reminders, so I'm going to not allow. When do you want to start your program? Let's start it on Monday. All right, it's building a strength program. Well, this is cool. So here's your 12-week progression plan. It's given it to me in kilograms, so I don't really know what that is. But obviously you can see we're starting at 90 and going to 107 for squat, and then bench from 85 to 92, deadlift, overhead press, barbell row and stuff. Now, I'm not going to adjust any of these. I imagine in the app I can adjust it to be pounds, and then I can also adjust if I need to. Offer 7 days free. Great, I love it. We'll get a reminder. Love that. View all plans. So looks like it's $4.99 a month or $30 for 3 months. Not bad. Not necessarily something that I would be doing right away since I'm just jumped on another weightlifting app, and I really do love my push-pull legs, guys. I love it. I think the advantage that we'll see in this is that it will try to optimize, and it already told us what the hopefully I didn't show any sensitive information there. I'll cut this short. Oh, in fact, I'm just going to stop recording now. Let's use Google to sign in. I think the advantage is that it pre-calculates what your progression should be as far as the actual weights, when your starting weight and ending weight. So we can now start recording again. So you can see it has workout A, squat, 5x5, 200. But if you look at workout B, we've already gone up to 205. And then the next week, February 20th, we've gone up to 210. So it's adding 5 pounds every time, right? So I think that's pretty cool how it figures that out for you. Take some of that guesswork out. And from what I understand, it will also take into account if you don't hit the full 5 reps, right? So that's the idea. If you don't get full 5 sets and reps with perfect form, then you're not supposed to go up. And so I think it has a contingency that will allow you to back off and to try and break through those plateaus. It looks like it has some progress metrics, which I love to see. History, I love to see. Different programs. We're doing the StrongLifts 5x5. Looks like that's the normal one. There's a light, mini, plus, ultra max, intermediate. There's tons of them. And that's so cool. So I think this is a great place to start. It looks like it was only $5 a month. Maybe that's something you want to do, but you also have the option, like my heavy app, we saw had a 5x5 plan. You don't need to be using the StrongLifts app. I think it's a great resource, and it does make it very easy. It just depends on what are you going to prioritize. Are you prioritizing convenience or finances, right? So I don't know, $5 a month might be a lot to you. It might not be a lot. It's different for everyone, right? Let's get back to this weight. All right, we've got one more set of squats. Try and get 5 of these again. I'm getting this weight taken off, but I think I might go over my typical rest period because I typically only use my weightlifting shoes for squats. So I change my shoes before I go into my other lifts anyway. And today I'm also going to swap out my knee sleeves because, again, I think these knee sleeves are more optimized for heavy squatting. I don't think they're really going to serve me very well on Bulgarian split squats where I want a little bit more range of motion. And just like none of my other workouts really need that. So no time will have passed for you, but there'll be a couple extra minutes for me to get those pulled off. We've got Bulgarian split squats, 70 pounds, 35 in each hand, shooting for what, 10 or so. So why do I love the 5x5 workout plan so much? It kind of feeds into my previous couple days of videos. Yesterday, I talked about how much I love compound lifts and why they're so beneficial. They're great for beginners because they help build the neural pathways and the neuromuscular connection and build your form and coordination. They work out multiple muscle groups and joints, and they recruit more muscle mass so you get more volume for the same amount of time. And strength and hypertrophy gains are directly linked to the amount of volume per muscle group. So their compound lifts are one of the most efficient way to grow your strength and your muscle size. And then we talked about on Tuesday, I don't know what day it is. The day before, we had talked about how I would spend my first $1,000 if I were building a home gym from scratch. And I just basically described the equipment you would need for doing compound lifts: a barbell, weight plates, a squat rack, and a bench, right? And I showed you the shopping cart from Titan Fitness, how you can get all that for just over $1,000. Of course, you still need to get your safety rack. What do you call these? Pins, not pins. I don't know, man. Words are hard sometimes. Clips. But you can get these for $20 on Amazon. And then, of course, you at some point might want to invest in getting some kind of flooring. And then we talked about all what you might get as a next thing. And that kind of feeds into the whole idea of 5x5 workout of being a beginner. You can start as a beginner with just compound lifts. And as you grow, we talked about this yesterday with compound lifts, as you get more intermediate, you start to notice different muscle groups that are maybe lacking. You have developed imbalances for whatever reason. And so you can start adding accessory work to address those concerns. Maybe you want to work on your biceps or your triceps, or like me, your back is lacking. So you get a pull-up bar so you can do pull-ups, right? So you can start adding in accessory work, and then you just slowly buy the equipment that helps you do that accessory work. And so it all feeds into each other. The equipment, the compound lifts, and the strategy and the routine around those, and then the actual routine itself of the 5x5 and how you start and how it helps you develop your coordination. Most of your gains in the first few months are not because your muscles are growing. It's because it's this mind-muscle connection. It's central nervous system. It's neuromuscular connection that is actually building coordination, and you're getting more efficient, and you're just getting more familiar with the lift. You will see your weight will keep going up, and eventually so it goes in a reverse exponential. It'll go up, and then as you start to get fully developed in your neuromuscular connection, it levels off and it starts going up at a slower pace, and that is the actual pace of your body starting to adapt and your muscles starting to grow, and as you reach your natural limit, you'll keep going and leveling off, right? So the 5x5 workout is designed to help beginners get from beginners to intermediate, and then to help get you into an advanced territory if that's where you want to go. All right, second set, Bulgarian split squats. This is an excellent example of a supplementary accessory type workout that you could add to a 5x5, right? So squat and deadlift being the primary leg movements, you might notice, hey, I'm right-handed, so my left leg is just, I'm noticing that it's stronger, right? Unilateral movements that use only one appendage, one leg at a time, like Bulgarian split squats, are a great way to address that. Plus, it's typically done with a lighter weight, so there's a little less stress involved. There's more isolation. You're not recruiting as many muscles in your core and otherwise. This is going to more directly work on, if you have more forward lean, it's going to work on your quads a little bit more directly. All right, let's get this last set of Bulgarians. I've said it before, I'll say it again. They look easy, they are deceptively hard. They hit you. All right, we've got Romanian deadlifts, single leg curls, and calf raises left. Probably gonna skip the calf raises today because number one, I don't feel like moving my squat rack pins to the outside. And number two, for time. Number three, my calves feel fine. They are not hurting for stimulus or size, so it's fine. Let's go ahead and get this first Romanian deadlift. Mortis got 205, shooting for 6. Now, lest you think 5x5 is only for beginners, let me dispel that myth. If you want to gain strength and or muscle size, if you want to grow your strength and grow your muscles, the number one driving factor has been proven again and again to be time under tension for muscles. Another way to say it is volume, right? Another way to say that is how much weight did you lift, how many times. So you can measure that in number of hard sets per week. You can also measure it in tonnage. But the driving force behind growth is that that volume needs to be increasing. There's this idea of progressive overload that needs to be implemented and needs to be occurring for your muscles to be stimulated enough to break down. And there has to be recovery, right? You have to be resting and recovering enough for it to repair itself and actually grow. And you can, as an intermediate or an advanced lifter, you can still follow a 5x5 program that is geared towards your performance. So there, rather than just doing a typical 5x5 where you're doing 5 sets of 5 at the same weight, you can do progressions like the Madcow 5x5, which is designed to help ramp you up to higher weights within a single workout. And there are routines of the 5x5 that go based off of 1 rep max percentages, right? And so you have very specific goals that you're trying to achieve in order to increase your 1 rep max. So whether you're looking for powerlifting gains for those core lifts, or if you're looking for strength gains or muscle growth, 5x5 has been shown to be not only a simple, like people say, oh, well, it works because it's simple. That's not the only reason why you choose 5x5. You choose 5x5 because progressive overload is built in, and that is what you need to grow, right? Any split that you pick, whether it be 5x5 or another full body split or push-pull legs, upper lower, bro split, if you're not progressively overloading, if you're not tracking your weight and making sure that you're going up, you're not going to get any gains. It's as simple as that, folks. So that's why I love 5x5 for beginners. It helps build that in from the beginning. And those gains come easy at first because it's mostly that muscle-mind connection. But even as you become an intermediate, you can still see those gains, and you can adjust your routine, how you do the 5x5 and the schemes and the warm-ups and the ramp-ups and stuff like that to accommodate your level. And you can also supplement with accessory work to help bridge gaps and weaknesses in different muscle groups. And so that's why I love 5x5, because it works for any level of lifter. It is simple, but it also is effective, right? And it is a great way to maximize efficiency and maximize your time. And I love that. As someone who doesn't like to spend more than an hour in the gym, it makes a lot of sense. Plus, if the fact that you can get the equipment for $1,000 or less or more or whatever at home, that saves you even more time. Obviously, I have a home gym. I love it, right? It makes a big difference. It saves a ton of time. And so this is a workout plan that you can do at home very easily. All right, second set of these things, Romanian deadlifts. Now, I hope you don't hear what I'm not saying. I'm not saying 5x5 is the best workout for everyone, that everyone should be doing it. That's the only way that you can grow. I do think it is up there. It's one of the best programs. It's simplest, it's proven, and it's effective. But guys, I do a push-pull legs. That's my preferred split for myself, where I am right now. I do like that they both have in common that core compound lifts are the foundation. So with push-pull legs, I'm doing bench, I'm doing deadlift, I'm doing squat. I'm also filling in with a lot of other accessory work and strength work that are not just compound exercises. So for me, one of the biggest things like that I would add to a 5x5 and that I focus on in my push-pull legs is vertical pulling, right? That's kind of missing from the 5x5. So that would be, if you get your home gym set up the way that I said, first thing I would buy would be a pull-up bar. Start doing pull-ups, grow your lats, right? You get some lat interaction with bench press. Sure, you get lat interaction with barbell rows, but the number one lat grower is a hard vertical pull. And you get that with pull-ups, and you get that with lat pull downs. Those are the big ones. So let me just say that. Do whatever workout split you want, right? I'm not going to sway you, but if you're looking for one to get started, or if you're looking to change it up, please consider the 5x5 because it is dope. Last set of these Romanian deadlifts. All right. We're nearing the end here. We just have these single leg curls with the cable machine. If you haven't seen these little ankle cuffs that I've gotten, again, Amazon, it's just one more thing that I thought, you know what, I'd like to be able to do that. I've got a cable machine. I think these are like 30 or 40 bucks. I like them because they have little stirrups that go under the heel, which allows it to, you don't get as much movement on the cuff. So I like those, but we're going to get these and then stick around because we'll do our daily check-in. We will skip calf raises, but we won't skip our check-in. I will tell you what my weight was. You'll see how much water weight I lost since this weekend. It's incredible, guys. And I'll show you the calories, food from yesterday. All right, first set of these, we're shooting for 2 sets of 10. Oops. The weight fell there. My glasses have never fully fallen off my face, and they almost did. And I got distracted. Oh, that's a good workout. So before we wrap up, I want to throw it back to you all. Anything that you didn't hear when I was talking about the 5x5 workout plan that you wish I had touched on? Any big pros or any big cons that I kind of left out? Maybe I did that intentionally. Probably not. But why do you love it? Why do you hate it? Is it something that you do? Is it something that this is the first time you've heard of and you're wanting to find out more? Check out StrongLifts or just look it up. There's plenty of spreadsheets that you can follow that will help you track it as well. If you would like help programming your own 5x5 workout for free, let me know that in the comments. I've whipped up some AI prompts to help program different weightlifting routines in the past. I'd be happy to do that specific to a 5x5 plan for you. So let me know that in the comments. And otherwise, stick around for the check-in, and thank you for staying this long if you have. Like and subscribe as always. Many thanks. Last workout set of the day. One more set of 10 of these. Ugh. Man, I've been off my game this week. I ran out of memory the other day and had to switch cameras. Today, I just did my full check-in for you guys, and it did not record. So let's try it again, shall we? We weighed in at 184.3. And as I pointed out previously, but it didn't get recorded, that's about how last week was looking. This graph looks very similar. If I go back 1 week, you can see by Thursday I was down to 184. The biggest difference is the Monday to Tuesday was a bigger jump last week than it was this week. I started out higher and didn't come down quite as much. But the Wednesday, Thursday, 185.3 to 184 last week, 185.5 to 184.3, very similar from week to week. So the thing that I need to keep the low Friday, so that means a Thursday today that is in check. And then the difference I need to make is I need to keep Friday's calories and Saturday's calories and Sunday's calories in check so that I don't ramp up again in water weight and lose potential fat loss. So I need to basically just finish out this week strong. And I need to finish it out strong so that I can get a pound of fat loss for the next couple of weeks. And the reason I say need is because I have my powerlifting weigh-in on February 28th, and that's only a couple weeks away. And I think I need to be just under 182. And the lowest I've weighed is 184. So even if I lose a bunch of water weight, the lowest I've ever been is 184. So I need to lose 2 more pounds of fat so that even when I shed water weight, I will be able to weigh in. So I think it's doable. I think I had looked at the average is 187. So I need that smooth average to be probably closer to 185 or 184. Because if my average is 187 and I can drop to 184 with losing water weight, then if I need to drop to 182, that average needs to drop a couple pounds to 185 or 184. So that being said, that average should come down because I don't want to have any more big spikes like this weekend and last weekend we see with these light, solid purple. So the way to do that is to keep my calories in check. If we look at yesterday, this is what we need. Less than 1,700 calories, just over 1,600, 1,500 to 1,700 calories is where I'm shooting for. 193 grams of protein is really good. The goal, like the best case scenario is 200 grams for protein for me. And that's really hard to do when you're only getting 1,500 or 1,600 calories. I've mentioned before that I find it difficult to get over that 10 to 100 ratio, 10 grams of protein per 100 calories. So yesterday I got 150 grams of protein for 1,600 calories. That 10 grams would have been 160 grams of protein. That's typically what I see is 160 grams of protein for 1,600 calories. So to go above that is a really big thumbs up. That's great. Another couple days of this would be good this week. I accomplish it with stacking David bars. I have started making use of their bronze bars. I really like them. A little less protein, same calories. I think they taste better and they affect my digestive system, I think, a little less. So if that's something that you're aware of with David bars, not trying to eat too many in a day, I have found that what has worked for me is 2 bronze bars. I see I've got one here too. And a regular David bar seems to be okay and not have any adverse effects on my digestive system. But that's like, I don't know, what is it? 20 grams, so that's 40 plus, that's 68 grams of protein and only 450 calories right there. For lunch, I had a pre-made meal from Fit Flavors. It's a local pre-packaged food place that does fresh packaged meals, braised beef, potatoes, and string beans. Decent protein, 50 grams of protein for 450 calories. So again, pretty close to that 10 to 100 ratio. A couple of beef sticks, an apple and sea salt popcorn to round off lunch. For dinner, kept it pretty light with a Instant Pot made chicken breast with seasoning and salad with some light dressing. Had a yogurt at some point during the day. My peppermint gum to help me from snacking. I mentioned that bronze bar I had after dinner. And then I entered the crust of the bread that I ate from my son's leftovers. He doesn't eat his crust, and I'll eat that crust. That's yummy. Some of you think that's gross. That's fine. Some of you are dads and you know what it's about. So all that to say that we ended up with a decent calorie day, even though it says I'm 139 over. My target is 1500, but that there's a little bit of grace in that. There's a little bit of rounding errors. I'm okay with 1600 or 1700. I do 1500 just to give me something to shoot for in the best case scenario, knowing that on the average for the week, I'd be under 2000, somewhere around 1700 or 1800 would be great. So if I can do this a couple more days this week, that'll put me in good shape to get to that 1 pound of fat loss that I'm desiring. I can get 1 pound this week, next week and the week after, I think I'll be in good shape for the powerlifting meet. And I hope that you all will stick around the rest of these remaining weeks as we prepare for the powerlifting meet. I believe next week I will be shifting up my training program a little bit to start ramping down and preparing for that. And then we just have 2 weeks of prep, and then we have the powerlifting meet. And then we have 1 more week after that of the cut, I believe. Let me check the calendar, make sure I'm not lying to you. Yes, I'm right. So 2 more weeks before the powerlifting meet, and then 1 week of cutting after that. And that last week, actually, the Tuesday of it is when I will go in for my DEXA scan. So it won't be a full week of the cut before I get my DEXA scan, and we see exactly what the muscle composition versus fat composition and how that changed over 20 weeks, right? It'll be more like, I don't know, 18 and a half or 19 and a half weeks, but close enough, right? Anyway, I hope that you will stick around for the rest of this journey, and I hope to see you next time.